man to gain the world and lose his soul. I'd rather live my life like Job. Lord, refine me in the furnace till I'm pure like gold. The truth was written, it was never sold.
There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, very wealthy, blessed and healthy, with a soul pure as gold. Couldn't find another man like him, cause he was perfect.
Hello, y'all, the brothers spoke well in spirit. Who are we? We're
bit fast, man, you know the body keep bit fast, bit fast, bit fast, you tryna hate on God, don't get that, bit fast, I know you know the Bible keep bit fast, tell him let the word speak, keep the chit chat, bit fast, I know you know the Bible keep bit fast, they tryna hate on God, we don't get that, bit fast, I know you know the Bible keep bit fast,
Shout out Light Lion, shout out
let the
Church
word
of
speak,
Yahweh
keep the chit chat. You say you love God, well I missed that. 1 John 5:3, go and get that. Do I want support? Nah, get back. Leviticus 11, it can fit that. You believe in white Christ? Who is that? Where I'm from, everybody know Christ black. You say color don't matter, get laughed at. Plus your how made color people, that's that. You ain't finna have me looking stupid. If God say do something, then you know I'ma do it. If God don't exist, tell me why you can't prove it. See the earth he created and the people he influenced. Evil want me to quit, but I never lose it. I couldn't choose God, he the one who do the choosing. And all praises now I'm making Israelite music. He granted me wisdom, I already been foolish. Bit fast, man, you know the body keep bit fast, bit fast, you tryna hate on God, don't get that, bit fast, I know you know the Bible keep bit fast, tell him let the word speak, keep the chit chat, bit fast, I know you know the Bible keep bit fast, they tryna hate on God, we don't get that, bit fast, I know you know the Bible keep bit fast, tell him let the word speak, keep the chit chat. Trust me when I say that it's temptation that you're facing. Keep the commandments later, but to do it now. Can you stop procrastinating? If you were about Christ for what you shouldn't be, then you must be slightly falling off the edge. Israel, pray for me, cause lately my bravery is only after what's been saving me. I was at the point where I might snap and murder heathens, even if they waving me, but we wait on the Lord. Plus he took his time to wait for me. Who knows the most high besides the chosen he allowed to see? I'm breaking out of my shell, I'm breaking out of this hell. I seen the chains falling, sin ain't doing too well. In Israel, it's like I just made bail. Bit fast, I know you know the Bible keep bit fast, bit fast, why they tryna hit on God, we ain't with that, bit fast, I know you know the Bible keep bit fast, tell them let the word speak, keep the chit chat, bit fast, man, you know the Bible keep bit fast, why they tryna hit on God, we ain't with that, bit fast, I know you know the Bible keep bit fast, tell them let the word speak, keep the chit chat. If you ain't with the Israelites, you got nothing. Watch the light as I came to get the block jumping. Before I knew I was chosen, I was still covered by my grace and found the law because he is coming. I know you want the kingdom, you better get it from him. Keep the commandments or else you ain't getting nothing. Except a life after death when you getting punished. Except a life after death when you getting punished. True, 2nd Ezra 756, priest, I'm a one, I got a preacher from you. LOZ on YouTube, you better follow them too. Become a soldier in truth and they gon' give you the truth. And we already have proof. Cause God does not lie, they standing right by his side. Step on the devil or run out of time. My people failing, be killing my vibe. Side, bit fast, I know you know the Bible keep bit fast, bit fast, why they tryna hit on God, we ain't with that, bit fast, I know you know the Bible keep bit fast, tell them let the word speak, keep the chit chat.
Look at my pony. Look at my pony. Look at my pony. Look at my pony. Yeah.
tossing. You don't see the whole set apart dream team, man, and we often deliver the word of the Most High when you coughing. You don't like us? There's more that's winners than against us. That's like us. We're righteous. We can sit not one sinner try to entice us. We're far from the wicked ways. Going off doesn't excite us. Baptized in that Holy Spirit, that fire ignites us. We gon' do it with a slingshot. We sellin' anything on the block. Guess what we sellin'? Slingshots. No weapon formed against us by any means shall prosper. Send up a prayer. Watch that cloud hover over you like a chopper. The Most High be with you. Who dare be against you? Even giants gotta fall. Salvation's on the menu. If you wanna play adversary, I advise you not to continue. We're the anointed ones them sheeps he attend to.
Shalom.
The some of the teachers that the Most High spake about in these last days, all praise be to God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for his mercy truly endure forever. Give me Colossians 3:17.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 17.
Come on.
And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of Hamashiach Yahushai, giving thanks to the Father and the Abba by him.
Right, so everything we do, the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushai's name, that's the true spiritual power in heaven, that's going to be established right here on earth, thus saith the Most High. Give me Matthew 6:24. But what you're gonna find out that it's either the Most High's way or no way. You can't be on two sides of the fence. Right? Read that.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 24.
Bring it out.
No man can serve two masters.
Read that again.
No man can serve two masters.
No man can serve two. You can't be double dipping. Okay? Either you're gonna be with the Most High or you're gonna be with Shaitan, Satan. Right? Read that again.
No man can serve two masters.
Come on.
For either he will hate the one.
You will what?
He will hate the one.
Come on.
And love the other.
Right.
Or else he will hold to the one and despise the other.
Right. So there's no in between, brother. Okay. So the Most High said, "Let your yeas be yea, your nay be nay." Okay. Give me Deuteronomy 10 verse 12, because you know the scriptures. Okay, because I know you. I see you quoting them. You reading it, right?
Yeah, man.
But faith without works is what? Faith without works is dead. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10 and verse 12. And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee?
So the Most High has a requirement. Okay, your nationality. Did the brother share with you your nationality? What's your nationality? Huh?
Well, I know I'm Cherokee Indian.
You're Cherokee Indian, right? Where's that? Where's Cherokee in the Bible? It's not there. Okay, you're the children of Israel.
Yeah,
that's your true biblical identity. You're a child of Israel.
Yeah.
Okay, read that again.
Abraham.
Verse 12.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Read that.
And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee?
Read.
But to fear the Lord thy God.
To do what?
To fear the Lord thy God.
To fear the Most High, Yah. How do we fear the Most High? By what? By respect. How do we respect the Most High? Read on.
To walk in all his ways.
Come on.
To love him.
Read.
And to serve the Lord thy God.
Come on.
With all thy heart.
Read.
And with all thy soul.
Come on.
To keep the commandments of the Most High.
Do what?
To keep the commandments of the Most High.
To do what?
To keep the commandments of the Most High.
To keep the commandments of the Most High. Okay? That's how we show we love the Most High. What's love according to the Bible? Because a lot of people use that term. Right? What is love? 2 John 1:6. Let's see what the Bible says. Because, you know, Lauren Hale, she brought out love, right? We got different people, different definition of love. But let's see what love. Love is according to the Bible. Okay? Best instruction before leaving earth. Listen, brother, Most High is calling you. Okay? We haven't been out here, like the brother said, we haven't been out here in many moons. Right? But the Most High is looking, the Most High wants you, brother. Okay, you got to make up your mind tonight. Are you going to serve the Most High or you going to serve Satan?
Yeah,
which
man,
one?
Just me out here, Brian.
Well, we here for you. Okay, read that.
The book of 2 John chapter 1 and verse 6.
Read.
And this is love.
And what?
And this is love.
And who?
And this is love.
And this is love according to the Bible. Come on.
That we walk after his commandments.
That we do what?
That we walk after his commandments.
That we walk after the commandments of the Most High God. The God of who? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? That's who's calling you, brother. Give me Isaiah 61 verse 1. Isaiah 61 and 1.
The book of Isaiah chapter 61 and verse 1.
Read.
The Spirit of the Most High power is upon me.
The what?
The Spirit of the Most High power is upon me.
Right, the Spirit of the Most High Yah is upon me and all the brothers that you see out here this evening. Come on.
Because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings.
To do what?
To preach good tidings.
To preach good tidings. What are the good tidings? That you so-called Negroes, West Indian, Haitian, Puerto Rican, those of Negro and Indian descent, spread out the four corners of the earth. Okay? You making the 12 tribes of Israel, the kingdom to come belongs to you, brother. Right. We got next according to the Bible. Read that again. Right.
From the top. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, Because the Lord hath appointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek.
Unto who?
Unto the meek.
Right, we are the meek. We're the last hide, the first find. The ones in the ghettos and the slums. The ones talking about no justice, no peace. The ones talking about, well, I can't breathe. You understand? We're a victim. We're a prey to all the other nations on the earth. Read it again for the top.
The Spirit of the Most High Power is upon me.
Come on.
Because the Lord hath appointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek.
Wait.
He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted.
The what?
He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted.
Right, because we know, we see your heart is broke, brother. But the Most High is calling to what? To bind you up. To build you back up. Come on.
To proclaim liberty to the captives.
To do what?
To proclaim liberty to the captives.
Right, to proclaim liberty to the Who are the captives? We are the captives.
God, all praises to the Most High, power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. What the Most High for another Shabbat day where Israel can come together in holy convocation as per a covenant that the Most High made with our forefathers. We are the Light of Zion, located down here in South Florida, Broward County, 2937 West Broward Boulevard. I'm Elder Bishop Lapalal. To my left,
Captain Aliyah.
We're going to continue in the book of Kings, 2 Kings, chapter 9. But before we start that, let's go to Colossians 3, verse 17.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all by Hashem Hamashiach Yahushai, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by him.
Whatever you do in word or deed, make sure you do it in accordance to the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, and the teaching of the Mashiach Yahushua. Okay? You know what word or deed means? Whatever you say, and also your actions. Your actions should be consistent with it in the context of the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. Let's continue. 2 Kings chapter 9, verse 1.
This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 9 and verse 1. And Elijah, the prophet, called one of the children of the prophets, and said unto him, Gird up thy loins, and take this ox of oil in thine hand.
Read it again.
Oh, I'm slot. And Elijah, the prophet, called one of the children of the prophets, and said unto him, Gird up thy loins, and take this box of oil in thine hand, and go to Ramoth Gilead.
Right, Ramoth Gilead. Where's Ramoth Gilead? Show me that map. It's Elijah, the prophet, called unto one of the children of the prophets. I said, gird up your loins. Get ready. Take this box of oil in that hand and go to Ramoth Gilead. Ramoth Gilead. So right here. Ramoth Gilead, that's okay. That's a territory, okay, that's a territory now in Gad, and just east of Manasseh, far east coast, far east of the northern kingdom of Israel. Okay, actually located in you have Jabesh Gilead, you have Ramoth Gilead. Okay, that's the territory in go up a little bit, scroll up a little bit, because that's Gad's territory. But it's really close to where Manasseh is. Okay, read on.
Verse 2. And when thou comest thither, look out there Jehu the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, and go in and make.
Anoint him speedily, and then what? Flee. Because there's probably going to be turmoil after it's announced that there's going to be a new king in Israel. So the previous king was let me see, and he went. Let me go back to the previous chapter 2 Kings chapter 8. The previous king was Joram. Chapter 8 verse 28. And he went with Joram, the son of Ahab, to the war against Hazael, king of Syria, in Ramoth Gilead. And the Syrians wounded Joram. So the Syrians wounded Joram, the previous king, and King Joram went back to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Syrians had given him at Ramah, when he fought against Hazael, king of Syria. And Hazael, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, went down to see Joram, the son of Ahab, in Jezreel because he was sick. Okay, so at this point, Joram, the current king, rather, the current king, he got injured in the war against the Syrians. Okay, at Ramoth Gilead. Okay, but he was taken back to Jezreel. Where's Jezreel? Let me see the map again. Jezreel is, I think, to the west. He went to taken back to Jezreel to be healed. Okay. It doesn't show where Jezreel is, but Ramoth Gilead as a part of earth. Oh, yeah, it doesn't show Jezreel. Okay, so he went back to Jezreel to be healed of the wound that he inflicted upon him by the hand of the Syrians. Okay, let's go back to chapter 9 now.
Khan, 2 Kings chapter 9 and verse 4.
So
the young man, even the young man, the prophet, went to Ramoth Gilead.
Right, so the young man, the prophet, followed the orders of Elisha and went to Ramoth Gilead to seek out Jehu. Read on.
And when he came, behold, the captains of the host were sitting. And he said, I have an errand to thee, O captain. And Jehu said, unto which of all us? And he said, to thee, O captain. And he arose and went into the house, and he poured the oil on his head, and said unto him, thus saith Yahweh, power of Israel, I have anointed thee king over the people of the Most High, even over Israel.
Right, so the young man followed the orders of Elijah, sought out Jehu, and brought him into a room privily, and anointed him, poured the oil upon his head, and anointed him king of Israel. Read on.
Verse 7. And thou shalt smite the house of Ahab thy master, that I may avenge the blood of my servants, the prophets, and the blood of all the servants of Yahweh at the hand of Jezebel.
Right, so this is the order the Most High gave to Elisha to give to this prophet to anoint a newly appointed king, Jehu of Israel. Well, and Jehu was to carry out the Most High's order to what? Take a revenge that Ahab and Jezebel afflicted upon the prophets, because if you recall, Jezebel slaughtered the kings, slaughtered the prophets. That was in Israel, man. That the prophets had to be hiding in caves and all that, and be fed by fed privily in secret, because Jezebel, this heathen woman who Ahab was married to, they were worshiping Baal. That was the god of her people, and they were slaughtering the prophets of the Most High. And the Most High was about to take revenge upon them for that. And by doing that, he appointed Jehu the king, the new appointed king of Israel, and he was to what? Create a mutiny against his master, slaughter Ahab, slaughter the king of Israel. Read on.
Verse 8.
Mm-hmm. Okay, read on.
Yeah, verse 8. The house of for the whole house of Ahab shall perish.
For the whole house of Ahab shall, not just Ahab. Well, he already died anyway. The house means what? Descendants, family, your aunts, you know what I mean? Your relatives, so to speak. The whole house of Ahab shall perish. Read on.
For the whole house of Ahab shall perish, and I will cut off from Ahab him that pisseth against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Israel.
So the Most High said what? He's gonna cut off all relatives of Ahab. Read on.
Verse 9. And I will make the house of Ahab like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, like the house of Baasha, the son of Ahijah. And the dogs shall eat Jezebel and the portion of Jezreel, and there shall be none to bury her. And he opened the door and fled.
So the prophet gave Jehu the message that the Most High gave to Elijah. This is what's going to happen. All the house of Ahab shall perish. His son, which was Jehoram, and even his widow, Jezebel. And when she dies, she's gonna be such a terrible death that that they won't be able to bury her. When it wasn't.
Then Jehu came forth to the servants of his Lord, and one said unto him, Is this well?
So then Jehu came forth to the servants of his Lord. So he came to his so-called colleagues, because they were all servants of the current king of Israel, Jehoram. Read on. And they asked him, Are you okay? Read on.
And one said unto him, Is all well? Wherefore came this mad fellow to thee?
Yeah, what does this guy want? This crazy looking guy. What do he want? He seems so odd. What's up with him? Read on.
And he said unto them, Ye know the man and his communication.
He said, you know who he is. You know what he's about. Read on.
And they said, It is false.
Whatever you tell me, don't believe the word from this guy saying, man. Not this guy going to talk to you about. Read on.
Tell us now. And he said, Thus and thus spake he to me, saying, Thus saith Yah, I have anointed thee king over Israel. Then they hasted and took every man his garment and put it under him on top of the stairs, and blew with trumpets, saying, Jehu is king.
Well, y'all. First they said, don't believe a word this guy is saying. But now they said, what? I said, you're king? Because they knew that Jehu, this is not a guy who probably mess around and make such false statements. It wouldn't make us, I make a joke that say they know to be king. In jest, they know you got to be serious. So when Jehu told them that, hey, the prophet said, I'm going to be king of Israel. He put in the garments with the trumpets and proclaimed Jehu king. Read on.
Verse 14. So Jehu, the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, conspired against Joram.
Right, is the current king, right? So Joram was the king and the captain of the host, but now Jehu was gonna rise up against his boss, his master. Read on, because there was a commandment coming down from the Most High. Read on.
Now Joram had kept Ramoth Gilead, he and all Israel, because of Hazael, king of Syria.
Yeah, go back to the map again. Yeah. Just to put things in perspective. Ramoth Gilead. Syria is actually to the north, further up. You can't see Syria right now. There's an island. If you get a chance to show a map of Syria, Ramoth Gilead is right there. Syria is further north. Give me one of the drumsticks for the pointer.
Come.
Right. Let's get him up there. There's Syria right there. See, right? Yes, Syria. It's north. That's a correct map. Though. Give me an old map, though. Another map you can get with Syria. Syria is further to the north of there. And that's Jezreel. That's where the king had gone back to. After he got afflicted in Ramoth Gilead. Went back to Jezreel to be healed. Okay. But Syria up here was waging war against Israel, so men were posted up right there so they could easily, I guess, I'll go up to Syria to keep them off. Read on.
Con. Verse 15. But King Joram was returned to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Syrians had given him, when he fought with Hazael, king of Syria. And Jehu said, if it be your minds, then let none go forth nor escape out of the city to go to tell it in Jezreel.
So Jehu was saying, I don't want word to reach the king yet. Okay? To reach King Joram yet. Read on.
Verse 16. So Jehu rode in a chariot and went to Jezreel.
So Jehu, show me that map again. Yeah, you're right. So Jehu rode in a chariot in a chariot from Ramoth Gilead to go to Jezreel where Roham was. Okay, read on. Because what? That was a confrontation. That was following the orders that the Most High gave to Elijah to slaughter all that remained of the house of Ahab. Okay, and the current king was with the son of Ahab. Read on, Joram.
Verse 16. So Jehu rode in a chariot and went to Jezreel, for Joram lay there, and Ahab, king of Judah, was come down to see Joram.
That's one good thing about what was going on at the current time. At least the two kings of the old Israel was together. The king of Judah, okay, his name at the time was Ahaziah, king of Judah. He came down to see Joram. Read on. Actually went up to see Joram. Read on.
Verse 17. And there stood a watchman on the tower of Jezreel.
Yeah, so a watchman, we had towers. Picture this. In a lot of Israel, we had towers. We had men posted up on those towers. So-called like telescope, whatever. Men who could see very far off, but just you could see movement of any, of any magnitude on the outskirts of the territories. And when it was to see that, what they would do? They would sound what? So sound a trumpet to alert the king, to alert the inhabitants of the land. And, hey, we've been invaded. We see something that's not normal. So gird up your loins and get ready, just in case there's a war coming. Read on.
Verse 17. And there stood a watchman on the tower in Jezreel.
So the watchman on the tower of Jezreel. Jezreel looks like it's a car. Okay, read on.
And he spied the company of Jehu as he came, and said, I see a company. And Joram said, take in horsemen and send to meet them, and let him say, is it peace?
So the watchman on the tower alerted the king, Joram, and said, yo, I see a company of men approaching us. But I don't know if they are the enemies or their friends. So Joram said, take a horseman and send him to meet them and say, are you coming in peace? Are you coming to make war? Read on.
So, verse 18. So there went one on horseback to meet him, and said, thus saith the king, is it peace? And Jehu said, what hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, the messenger came to them, but he cometh not again.
So Jehu said, So the watchman asked Jehu, "Are you coming in peace?" Jehu said, "No. What do you know about peace? You want to get behind me, man? What you talking about? What you guys know about peace?
You're like, you about to die if you keep talking that man.
Just get behind me." So the watchman saw what was going on and said, so he told Joram, said, "Oh, yo. The messenger went, but I don't see him again. What happened? He disappeared." So read on. So let's see what happened after that.
Verse 19. Mm-hmm. Then he sent out a second on horseback.
Sent a second messenger,
which came to them and said, "Thus saith the king, is it peace?" And Jehu answered, "What hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me."
So the second messenger asked the same question and got the same response. "What do you know about peace? Get behind me, man. Just go join your homeboy back there behind me." Talking about you. What you questioning me? Okay, so read on, verse 20.
Verse 20. And the watchman told, saying, "He came even unto them, and cometh not again. And the driving is like the driving of Jehu, the son of Nimshi, for he driveth furiously."
So the watchman told the king the same. He came to him, and the same thing happened to him. He came not again. And the driving is like the driving of Jehu, the son of Nimshi, for he driveth furiously. But this guy had a reputation. See, it seems. The driving is like the driving of Jehu, for he driveth furiously. So I guess so Jehu had a reputation for driving furiously, or it was a reckless man, or was a very aggressive person, or something. Read on. 21.
Verse 21. Mm-hmm. And Joram said, "Make ready." And his chariots was made ready. And Joram, king of Israel, and Ahaziah, king of Judah, went out, each in his chariot. And they went out against Jehu, and met him in the portion of Naboth the Jezreelite.
See that? So at this point, Joram said, this guy is not coming in peace. This guy's coming to make war. So he had the king of Judah, Ahaziah, went in their respective chariots, went out to confront Jehu, and met him in the portion of Naboth the Jezreelite. Remember Naboth? You remember Naboth, right? Who's Naboth? Show me a map again up there. Naboth was the owner of that vineyard. That vineyard that Ahab coveted. Yeah. That he could have, and Ahab asked him, "I like your vineyard. It's close to my palace. Can I have it? I'll even give another vineyard, or I'll give you money." And Naboth said, "No, because it belongs to my tribe, I can't sell it," which is the Most High's laws and commandments. And Jezebel said, "What? Are you the king? You're the king of Israel, all right? This guy came tell him no. Who is it to tell him no?" And she conspired, and then have him killed, and then I took his land, took his vineyard. So now the Most High setting up now an application in Naboth's vineyard. Naboth the Jezreelite. Read on.
And Joram, king of Israel, and Ahaziah, king of Judah, went out, each in his chariot.
What verse are you now?
I'm in verse 21. Did I finish it?
You read it again. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Mm-hmm. And Joram said, "Make ready," and his chariot was made ready. And Joram, king of Israel, and Ahaziah, king of Judah, went out, each in his chariot. And they went out against Jehu, and met him in the portion of Naboth the Jezreelite. Mm-hmm. And it came to pass, when Joram saw Jehu, that he said, Is it peace, Jehu?"
So Joram saw Jehu, he said, "You come in peace?" Let's see what Jehu said. Read on.
And he answered, What peace?
What peace? What peace are you talking about, man? Read on.
so long as the whoredoms of thy mother Jezebel and her witchcrafts are so many.
What peace can you be talking about when the whoredoms of your mother Jezebel and the witchcrafts are so many? Because this is this Joram was the son of Ahab and Jezebel. And Jezebel was famous for witchcraft and the worshiping of Baal and all that, wickedness. And all that was prevalent throughout Israel, the northern kingdom in particular. So Jehu would let them know, I'm here to represent the Most High, to overthrow all this wickedness that their mother carried out in Israel. Read on.
Verse 23. And Joram turned his hands and fled and said to Ahaziah, there is treachery, O Ahaziah.
So Joram, what? This guy got to be a coward or something. Maybe the Most High put a spirit of cowardice upon him.
Right.
I guess he was a king, but he wasn't really, a man of valor. But Jehu was a man of valor. Because Jehu was over there, if you recall, Jehu was over there, he was with the captains of the hosts in Ramoth Gilead. So Joram was afraid of him. So Joram said, it's treachery. And he said, and said to Ahaziah, there's treachery, and they fled. Read on.
Verse 24. And Jehu drew a bow with his full strength and smote Jehoram between his arms.
See, his name is spelled differently this time, but it's the same person. But it's Joram, Joram, or Jehoram is the same person. And smote Joram between his arms. Read on.
And the arrow went out at his heart, and he sunk down in his chariot.
So he shot him from the back, and with the arrow with his arm. Because he was fleeing, so he got shot in the back, and the arrow went straight through his heart. Read on.
Verse 25. Then said Jehu to Bidkar, his captain, take up and cast him in the portion of the field of Naboth the Jezreelite. For remember how that when I and thou rode together after Ahab his father, Yahweh laid this burden upon him. Surely I have seen yesterday the blood of Naboth, and the blood of his sons, saith Yah, and I will requite thee in the splat, saith Yah. Now therefore take and cast him to the plat of ground according to the word of the Most High.
Right, so all this is coming back because in remembrance of the slaughter of Naboth and his family, his sons. I know they conspired by to slaughter Naboth and take his land. So when they killed Joram, what did they do? They threw him in the land in the same vineyard that belonged to Naboth. Read on.
Verse 27. Mm-hmm. And when Ahaziah, the king of Judah, saw this. But when Ahaziah, the king of Judah, saw this, he fled by the way of the garden house. And Jehu followed after him and said,
You would think that Jehu said, let me be hospitable. He's not of the northern king. He's actually from the king of Judah. Just came to Jacob. Check what his fellow king. But I don't even have a beef with him. But that's not how Jehu saw it. But when Ahaziah, the king of Judah, saw this, he fled by the way of the garden house. And Jehu followed after him. Read on.
And Jehu followed after him and said, smite him also in the chariot. And they did so at the going up to Gur, which is by Iblim. And he fled to Megiddo, and died there.
Yeah, so they're on the smoke Ahaziah. Okay? Even though he was up in the southern kingdom. And they smoked him till he died. Read on.
And his servants carried him in a chariot to Jerusalem. and buried him in his sepulchre with his fathers in the city of David. And in the 11th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, began Ahaziah to reign over Judah. And when Jehu was come over to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and tired her head and looked out at a window.
So Jezebel heard what happened to her son, Joram. And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and tired her head. What does it mean by tired? Does it mean to say tired or tired? Tired her head. I guess she judged. This must be the man of the Philistines. What nation she's from? That must be the custom. They paint her face and rock the head a certain manner to mourn. And tied her head and looked out at a window. That's what Jezebel did. Remember Jezebel was still alive, even though Ahab was already dead, but she was alive. Read on.
Verse 31. And as Jehu entered in at the gate and said, had Zimri peace? Who slew his master?
So she was trying to put up a fight. She said, when Jehu entered in at the gate, she said, who's Zimri? Zimri was a servant, right? A servant of a king of Israel who overthrew his master. But after that, he also was overthrown. So she was reminding me, you're gonna meet the same fate as Zimri. Just like Zimri overthrew his master and thought he was gonna rule, but was meant with his own demise. The same thing is gonna happen to you. That's what she was trying to inflict fear in the heart of Jehu. And as Jehu entered in at the gate, she said, had Zimri peace, who slew his master? What make you think that you're going to have peace after saying your master? That's what she was trying to imply. Read on.
Verse 32. And he lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? Who?
Right, so he said, so he looked up at where she was and said, who's on my side? Who's on the side of the Most High? Who's with me? Read on.
And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs.
So they looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs. I said, yeah, we done with you. You done, Jehu. She's chastising us up here, man. Mm-hmm. It's starving us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Treating us like nothing. We done, bro. Read.
Verse 33. And he said, throw her down.
Throw her down the window, man. You done with me? You sure? Wow. If you don't, throw her down. You know?
So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses, and he trod her underfoot. And when he was...
Wow. So the university, they didn't hesitate, just grab her, put her in the window. You know? Her blood is all over the place. Her blood sprinkled on the wall and on the horses. Wow. And he trod her underfoot. And it was the horses who threw her underfoot. The officers trampled her. Read on.
Verse 34. And when he was come in, he did eat and drink and said, go, see now this cursed woman, and bury her, for she is a king's daughter.
Wow, check that out.
Now he had compassion.
No, he said,
on the dead.
And when he was coming to where the palace where she was, he did eat and drink and said, yo, he just killed her, but that's how cold this guy was, Jehu. He just killed her, but he had a feast after killing her. He just ate and drank. I said, you ate and drank. Picture that. Blood is all over the place. On the wall, under the horse's foot. Got trampled over the horses. This guy and his captain over there that's feasting. Eating all the good food. I guess eating all the grapes from neighbor's vineyard. And then they said, I guess he said sarcastically, but if you were really sincere, you're I guess. Buried it before he started eating, right? He said, and when he come in, he did eat and drink, and said, "Go, see now this cursed woman, and bury her, for she is a king's daughter. She's cursed, but at least she's the king's daughter. So let's show her a little respect. She's somebody." Verse 35. Read on.
Verse 35. And they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull and the feet and the palms of her hands.
What happened? She got stomped out, and the birds ate her flesh. Always left was what? The skull, and her feet, the bones, and the palms of her hands.
Wow.
The residue of what the birds didn't eat. But other than that, if they didn't know it was her that got thrown to the window, they wouldn't have recognized it. They wouldn't have known what person this was. Read on.
36. Wherefore they came again and told him, and he said, "This is the word of Yah, which he spake by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, in the portion of Jezreel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel."
Right, so dogs eat her flesh. That's what happened to her. Read on.
"And the carcass of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, this is Jezebel."
Right, so, right. "And the carcass shall be as dung crop upon the face of the field in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, this is Jezebel." Meaning what? They couldn't recognize her. That was a punishment that the Mosai ordained to take place upon Jezebel for what she did to the Mosai's prophets. Chapter 10. That was the end of chapter 9, chapter 10.
Chapter 10. "And Ahab had 70 sons in Samaria, and Jehu wrote letters and sent to Samaria unto the...
And Ahab had 70 sons in Samaria. So obviously, Jezebel wasn't his only wife. So because Jezebel didn't have no 70 sons, man. Understand? So we can surmise right there that Ahab had 7 wives. But I guess 7 wives and concubines. But Jezebel was his main queen. You can conclude that. Do you all see that? And Ahab had 70 sons in Samaria. Can you picture one woman having 70 sons, 70 children? Okay. Even though it doesn't mention that they're the wives, we can infer that he had other women, other wives, just by the number of children that he had. Read verse 1 again.
2 Kings chapter 10 and verse 1. "And Ahab had 70 sons in Samaria, and Jehu wrote letters and sent to Samaria unto the rulers of Jezreel, to the elders and to them that brought up Ahab's children, saying..."
Right. So Jehu sent letters to the elders and to the caretakers, the guardians and the caretakers of Ahab's 70 children, 70 sons. Saying,
verse 2, "Now as soon as this letter cometh to you, seeing your master's sons are with you, and there are with you chariots and horses, and fenced city also, and armor. Look even out the best and meetest of your master's sons, and set him on his father's throne, and fight for your master's house.
Right. So now, Jehu wrote to the elders and to the caretakers of Ahab's 70 sons and said, you know what? Choose the best, the strongest, the most noble of the 70 sons and dressed him according to the manner of a king's son. And get him ready. Groom him, literally and otherwise, to be the king, to be the next king of Israel. That's what Jehu said to the elders to do to the chosen son of the 70 of Jehu's sons to be put upon the throne. Read on.
Verse 4. But they were exceedingly afraid and said, Behold, 2 kings stood not before him. How then shall we stand?
But they didn't go for it. They knew that was a bluff, it was a ploy. So what? But they were exceedingly afraid and said, Behold, 2 kings. Who are the 2 kings? Who are the 2 kings that stood before Jehu?
Hazael?
Not Ahab. Remember Ahab died already? It was his son, who was the king of Israel, and Hazael, the king of Judah. They were the 2 kings who stood before Jehu, and he slaughtered them. So the elders said, we're not going to fall for this. We're not going to go up against this guy. Either slaughter 2 kings, one of the southern kingdom and one of the northern kingdom. How can we stand up against a man like that? Read on.
And he that was over the house, and he that was over the city, the elders also, and the bringers up of the children sent to Jehu, saying, We are thy servants, and will do all that thou shalt bid us. We will not make any kind. Do thou.
Read it again.
Verse 5.
We not make any king.
Okay, king.
Read verse. All right.
We are thy servants, and we will do all that thou shalt bid us. We will not make any king. Do thou that which is good in thine eyes.
So they said, we're not going to do that. So all the prominent men of Israel, of the northern kingdom, the elders and the caretakers of the children, sent to Jehu saying, We are thy servants, and will do all that thou shalt bid us. And we will not make any king. Do thou that which is good in thine eyes. Whatever you want, man. We're just going to abide by it. Read on.
Verse 6. Then he wrote a letter the second time to them, saying, If ye be mine, and if ye will hearken unto my voice, take ye the heads of the men, your master's sons, and come to me to Jezreel by tomorrow this time. Now the king's sons, being 70 persons, were with great men of the city, which brought them up.
Right, so Jehu said, okay, I hear you, but I doubt what you're really saying. So if you're really down with me, and if you really want to be my servant, I want you to take the heads of the 70 sons of Ahab and bring them to me. Read on.
Verse 7. And it came to pass, when the letter came to them, that they took the king's sons and slew 70 persons, and put their heads in baskets, and sent them to Jezreel.
That's how much the fear of the Most High was upon them. That's how much I fear Jehu. See what he did, they knew was a serious guy. So all the elders and the caretakers of the 70 sons, what did they do? Got their 70 sons together, slew them, and put their heads in baskets and brought them and sent them to Jehu. That was the spirit of the Most High upon them, though. Because the Most High had purpose to what? To rid Israel of any, descendants or a family member of Ahab. Because the Most High was taking revenge upon Ahab for what Ahab and Jezebel did to him. the prophets of the Most High. Read on.
Verse 8. And there came a messenger and told him, saying, They have brought the heads of the king's sons. And he said, Lay ye them in 2 heaps at the entering in of the gate until the morning. And it came to pass in the morning, when he went out and stood and said to all the people, Ye be righteous, behold, I conspired against my master and slew him. But who slew all these? No.
So Jehu said, so Jehu, he brought brought the kings, the heads of of the sons, and brought them to the marketplace. Laid them in 2 heaps at the entering in of the gate until the morning. So everyone entering into the city shall see them. And so he said, hey. And it came to pass in the morning that he went out and stood and said to all the people. So he wanted all the people to know what was going on. Ye be righteous. Behold, I conspired against my master. Yea, I overthrew my master and slew him. But who slew all these? So, even though the people knew that Ahab was wicked, he still had the followers. So Jehu was concerned, that the followers of Ahab might want to have ill feelings towards him. Might try to bring about discord in his empire, in his kingdom. So Jehu said, yeah, I conspired against my master and I slew him. But as for his 70 sons, who slew them? I didn't slew them. People who you look up to slew them. This guy was a very, very cunning, crafty.
Strategic.
So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So he was very strategic in and going about things. So you want to make sure that the people was on his side.
Verse 10. Now know that there shall fall unto the earth nothing of the word of the Most High, which Yahweh spake concerning in the house of Ahab. For the Most High have done that which he spoke by his servant Elijah.
So you let him know. No word of the Most High shall go out void. No word of the Most High shall fall to the ground. Every word of the Most High shall be fulfilled. Every deed that the Most High prophesied shall be executed. So everything the Most High told Elijah the prophet that would take place, did take place, and will continue to take place. That's what Jehu was reminding people. Read on.
Verse 11. So Jehu slew all that remaineth of the house of Ahab in Jezreel, and all his great men, and his kinfolks, and his priests, until he left him none remaining.
So Jehu cleaned the house. He killed all the family members of Ahab in Jezreel, and all the great men who were loyal to them, men of valor who were loyal to Ahab, and his kinfolks and his priests, until he left him none remaining. Read on.
Verse 12. And he arose and departed and came to Samaria. And as he was at the shearing house in the way, Jehu met with the brethren of Ahaziah, king of Judah, and said, Who are thee? And they answered, We are the brethren of Ahaziah, and we go down to salute the children of the king and the children of the queen.
Right, so Jehu met with the brethren of Ahaziah, king of Judah. Brethren mean what? Family members.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean like Benjamin used the term a brethren.
Gun.
Yeah, brethren is that's really synonymous with kinfolks, relatives, family members. Yeah, that's what I thought. And said, "Who are ye?" He asked, "Who are you guys?" And they answered, "We are the brethren, the family members, kinfolks, relatives of Ahaziah. Ahaziah being the king of Judah. And we go down to salute the children of the king and the children of the queen." So we're going down to to mourn with them, to express our condolences to the family for his passing, and to the family, and particularly his surviving queen of his passing. Read on verse 14.
Verse 14. And he said, "Take them alive." And they took them alive, and slew them at the pit of the shearing house, even 42 men. Neither left he any of them.
This guy was cold, man. But the Most High didn't specifically give him orders to slay the relatives of Ahaziah. But because what? They were what? So guilty by association, by alliance, by you know what I mean? Because he killed Ahaziah, king of Judah, and Ahab, was it Ahab? Yeah, the king of Israel. So he was gonna kill the relatives of Ahaziah also. Read on.
It's a lot. I lost my place.
Verse 15, chapter 10, verse 15.
Verse 15. And when he was departed thence, he lightened on Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, coming to meet him. And he saluted him and said to him, "Is thine heart right, as my heart is with thy heart?" And Jehonadab answered, "It is. If it be, give me thy hand." And he gave him his hand, and took him up to him into the chariot.
Right. So he lighted on Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, coming to meet him. And so he asked him, "Are you coming in peace? Are you on the same page as I am? Are you down with me?" So yeah, okay, all right. So he was convinced. So he pulled him up to his chariot. Read on.
Verse 16. And he said, "Come with me and see my zeal for Yahweh." So they made him ride in his chariot. And when he came to Samaria, he slew all that remained unto Ahab in Samaria, till he had destroyed him, according to the word of Yah, which he spake to Elijah.
Right, so it's come with me and see the zeal of the Most High. So how is he going to show the zeal of the Most High? Just like when we came out of Egypt, and the Most High gave us orders to slay all the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Girgashites, all of them. But the zeal of the Most High, just like Phineas had the zeal of the Most High, the zeal of the Most High was to slay all that represents evil. That was a zeal. That's how you exemplify the zeal of the Most High. To slay all that represents evil. So when Jehu went to Samaria, he inquired about those who are kinfolks or brethren of Ahab, and what? He slew them. Read on.
Verse 18. And Jehu gathered all the people together and said unto them, "Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu shall serve him much.
Yeah.
Now therefore..."
Hold up, man. Let's examine that. This guy just talk about the zeal of the Most High.
Right.
Right? And he slew all those people who were related to Ahab. And we know what was Ahab famous for? For serving Baal. Him and Jezebel. Jezebel brought introduced Ahab to Baal. So all the house of Baal, Ahab and Jezebel and the relatives, they worship Baal. And Jehu just slaughtered all of them. But now Jehu was saying what? Read 18 again.
Verse 18. And Jehu gathered all the people together and said unto them, Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu shall serve him much.
Right. Let's see if the people did people go for that. Let's see if they went for that. Read on.
Verse 19. Now therefore call unto me all the prophets of Baal, all his servants, and all his priests. Let none be wanting, for I have a great sacrifice to do to Baal. Whosoever shall be wanting, he shall not live. But Jehu did it in subtlety, to intent that he might destroy the worshippers of Baal.
So Jehu was being cunning, was being crafty, being slick. Was putting a fast one on them. Now therefore call unto me all the prophets of Baal, all the servants and all the priests. Let none be wanted, for I have a great sacrifice to do to Baal. Whosoever shall be wanted, he shall not live. But Jehu did it in subtlety, to the intent that he might destroy the worshippers of Baal. So he did this in subtlety, so you could identify all those who worship Baal. He pretended to be a worshiper of Baal. He said, Ahab worship Baal a little, but me, I'm gonna worship Baal a lot. So all those people who worship Baal, tell them holler at me. Okay, we're gonna meet up in the temple, We're gonna have a good time worshiping Baal. That's the ploy that Jehu was pulling on the people.
I think he got on with the line when he said a great sacrifice.
A great sacrifice. Be a great feast. We're gonna eat and drink and make merry. And they fell for it. Verse 20.
Verse 20. And Jehu said, proclaim a solemn assembly for Baal. And they proclaimed it. And Jehu sent through all Israel. And all the worshippers of Baal came, so that there was not a man left that came not. And they came into the house of Baal, and the house of Baal was full from one end to another.
So, wow. So a proclamation was made throughout all Israel, and all the worshippers of Baal came to Samaria. So Baal was full. Was like standing room only, and the house of Baal was full from one end to another. There was no social distancing right going on right there. Everybody was rubbing up on each other, man. Standing room only in the house of Baal. Read on.
Verse 22. And he said unto him that was over the vestry, bring forth vestments for all the worshippers of Baal. And he brought them forth vestments.
Right. So he said unto those who control of the garment department, bring raiment, bring clothing for them. Right, make sure they're looking good. Make sure that they're decked out. I wonder if yes, pick at the border blue. They worship in Baal.
Right.
But make sure they're well decorated, well dressed up, well spruced up. Read on.
Verse 23. And Jehu went, and Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, into the house of Baal, and said unto the worshippers of Baal.
So Jehu went, and Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, into the house of Baal, and said unto the worshippers of Baal. Read on.
Search and look that there be here with you none of the servants of Yahweh. but the worshippers of Baal only.
So he said, look around, make sure everybody worship Baal is here. All right, read on.
Verse 24. And when they went into the offer, Salah. And when they went into the offer, sacrifices of
Read it again.
the book of 2 Kings, chapter 10 and verse 24. And when they went in to offer sacrifices and burnt offerings, Jehu appointed 80 men without.
80 being 40. Read on.
And said, if any of the men whom I have brought into your hands escape, he that letteth him go, his life shall be for the life of him.
So Jehu threatened them, saying what? He appointed these 40 men and said, if any of these Baal worshippers escape, I'm going to hold you responsible for that, to the point of to put you to death for their life.
Wow.
Their life is going to be for your life. That means you better make sure that none of them escapes. You know?
Verse 25. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of offering and burnt offerings, that Jehu said to the guard and to the captains, go in and slay them, let none come forth. And they smote them with the edge of the sword. And the guard and the captains cast them out, and went to the city of the house of Baal.
Well, so they slaughtered all the Baal worshippers. You know?
And they brought forth their images out of the house of Baal and burnt them. And they break down the image of Baal and break down the house of Baal and made it a drought house unto this day. Thus Jehu destroyed Baal out of Israel. Howbeit, from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was made Israel to sin, Jehu depart not from after them, to wit, the golden calves that were in Bethel and that were in Dan.
Isn't that something? That's why Moses, and Moses said to Moses, make sure that Israel, what? Obey all the Moses' laws, statutes, and commandments. You can't obey some and then choose to not obey the others. But this guy Jehu, that's what he did. Either showed his zeal for the Most High by slaughtering all the worship of Baal, but he was so power hungry. What did he do? He had the people worshiping the golden calves that Jeroboam made. The golden calves that Jeroboam made and put in what? In Dan and in Ephraim. Because they were so concerned about their power that they didn't want the people to go to Jerusalem, just in case they would link up with the fellow Israelites down there and shift their allegiance from the king of from the king of the northern kingdom to the southern kingdom. Read on.
Verse 30. And Yahweh said unto Jehu, because thou hast done well in executing that which is right in my eyes, and hast done unto the house of Ahab according to all that was in my heart, thy children of the 4th generation shall sit on the throne of Israel.
Right, so see that right there? Verse 30, and the Most High said unto Jehu, because thou hast done well in executing that which is right in mine eyes, and hast done unto the house of Ahab according to all that was in mine heart, thy children of the 4th generation shall sit on the throne of the Most High. So the Most High rewards you for your obedience, your zeal, for your commitment to His word. Doesn't seem like much, but it's a whole lot. That children of the fourth generation shall sit on the throne of Yasharallah. Read on.
Verse 31. But Jehu took no heed to walk in the law of Yahweh, power of Israel, with all his heart. For he departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, which made Israel to sin. In those days, Yah began to cut Israel short, and Hazael smote them in all the coasts of Israel.
Right, so Jehu took no heed to walk in the law of the Most High, power of Israel with all his heart. So he was outstepping. He got rid of the other nation, the other people, the worshipers of Baal, but he was worshiping the golden calf. You know. So, and the most, because of that, just like how Jehu's children was gonna rule up to the fourth generation. Likewise, the kingdom was being punished because of what? It's because of Jehu's disobedience in not getting rid of the golden calves and idols that Rehoboam made. In those days, the Most High began to cut Israel short, and Hazael smote them in all the coasts of Israel. So there was all this war going on between Israel and Syria. Read on.
Verse 33. For Jordan, from Jordan eastward, all the lands of Gilead, the Gadites, and the Reubenites, and the Manassites, from Aurora, which is by the river Arnon, even Gilead and Bashan. Now the rest of the acts of Jehu, and all that he did, and all his might, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jehu slept with his fathers, and they buried him in Samaria. And Ahaz, his son, reigned in his stead. And the time that Jehu reigned over Israel in Samaria was 28 years.
Right, so Jehu slept his fathers and they buried him in Samaria. And Jehoahaz, his son, reigned in his stead. And the time that Jehu reigned over Israel in Samaria was 28 years. So that concludes chapter 10. And we're going to wrap it up right there for tonight. So the brothers can get together, get ready to go to camp to edify the Most High's lost sheep on the street. Okay, the Most High when we conclude in chapter 11 or so. So I'm Madim Wapanya, Yerushalayim, turn to face Jerusalem. Psalms 133.
Con.
Shayar,
Hama
Ailwa, Ladawad,
Hana,
Ma, Tawab,
Wama,
Na'ayam, Shabbat, Akyam, Gam, Yakad, Kashaman, Atawab, Ail, Araash, Yarad, Ail, Zakwan, Aran, Shayarad, Ail, Paya, Barawak Yawa, Katal, Karamwan, Shayarad, Ail, Araria, Tazayawan, Kawa, Sham, Tazawa, Yahweh, Ath, Habaraka, Kayawam, Ail, Hawalam,
Ayalam,
Bahasham,
Bahasham, Hamashiach, Yahushai, the water, Aman. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 133. A psalm of decrees of David. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Most High commanded the blessings, even life forevermore. Bahashem, Hamashiach Yahushai, the water, the Yad, Aman.
Aman. The water about Shamash Yahushai. The water Most High. The water Yashua about Shamash Yahushai for logging in. Those are live stream, YouTube, by whatever media. Don't forget the Most High willing tomorrow. Continuation of the Shabbat service with Chief Minister Shalimar. Before that, we'll have a Hebrew class at 11 o'clock Eastern, 2937 West Broad Boulevard. Log on to our live stream, YouTube, The Light of Zion.